Okay, let me start. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Wabarakatuh, sir.
Good evening, everyone. We have Improatu, Lelia, Naila, Miranda, Pak Isna ini Improatu, Titan, Iwan, Pak Iwan, Lili, ya, Lupitaning, Bu Suhaima, ya. Thank you very much for joining my class this evening. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the mishap this morning. I forgot to attend our class. Yeah. I was in very serious business, yeah, in relation to my career. So sorry for that. It wasn't planned, so this is another excuse that we'll be back on track on Wednesdays at 1 next week. Oh, another program, yeah. Next week on Wednesday I would be very busy, yeah, because I will attend not attend, but I will hold my sister's wedding on Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So it is very likely that we have to move to different days next week. Yeah. So there is also a likelihood of moving the canceling next week meeting, because next week I would be 100% busy for my family errand. So this is the projection for next week, and I hope that we can make use of our time tonight. Yeah. Last week we started our meeting with discussion on curriculum, syllabus, yeah, whether curriculum and syllabus are different or similar, if they are in some ways similar, how similar they are, yeah. And the books that we read also hold such a different definition, yeah, depending on the authors of the books and also the contents, the context of the books, yeah, whether the book is written for the American audience or yeah, British audience, or for the global readerships. As a reminder for you that we, even though we use recent syllabus design in English language teaching, language and literature, yeah, we have not found a book entitled Curriculum Development in Language Teaching, as Richards wrote in 2001. That is why, even though it is old, 21 years ago, yeah, there is no latest reference in the English language curriculum in English language teaching. But I don't know if you find or you have more recent books. Yeah. But what we try to read last week, Brown and Lee, chapter 9 and chapter 10, 2015. Yeah, that's also 7 years ago. But it's recent. I don't know if anyone has more recent textbooks on syllabus design in English language teaching. Does anyone have the latest or more recent? If you do, let's see, let's read your book, whether the book is actually for general syllabus design or for English language and literature teaching. I have many textbooks on general syllabus design, not specifically for language, even the latest, 2020, 2019, but not for the English language and literature teaching. Okay, tonight we will be talking about frameworks, syllabus framework, and common famous syllabus framework in English language and literature teaching or pedagogy. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. I just need to remind you in Nation and McAllister's book, he is very cautious on the distinction between curriculum and syllabus. One thing, one note here, some curriculum designers distinguish curriculum from syllabus, in the model, their model, I think you need to to be cautious, to remember this model, Nation and McAllister's model, on page 2, the circle, there are 2 circles. This is, well, at 3 circles, circles, goals in the center, and then content sequencing, format, presentation, monitoring, and assessing, in the second, and in the outer one is called evaluation. This is the model by Nation and McAllister. So how do they distinguish curriculum from syllabus? Both the outer circles and the inner circle make up the curriculum. The inner circle represent the syllabus. So curriculum consists of syllabus, and other parts. The inner circle and outer called curriculum. So what we mean by curriculum is everything inside the circle. Principles, environment, needs, monitoring, content, sequence, format, and goals. And evaluation too. This curriculum. But to be specific, the inner circle, which has a goals as a center, is called syllabus. In other words, in Nation and McAllister's definition, syllabus is part of the curriculum, and it is also obvious in Richards and in Richards 2001's model of curriculum development. I think you remember on page 42, on page 42 this book. Okay, this is the model. Okay. I think you should remember when I share a particular section of a book, you need to you need to know that I indicate this as important. curriculum development stages, yeah, in Richard's model, yeah. But he used Johnson's model, but this is written in Richard's 2001, yeah. So we can identify this one, the syllabus. Syllabus is part of the curriculum development processes in Richard's model 2001. Syllabus is over here. Yeah, syllabus is over here. Now, I think we need to draw a borderline. Yeah. What we mean by design of language and literature, design of language and literature pedagogy. Yeah. What we need to do is actually to design a program. Yeah. So what does that mean? Yeah. To design a program means that you need to be able to specify, to develop syllabus as well as the well, at least, you know, in your list of the syllabus you should be able to indicate the materials, yeah, the teaching materials, yeah, in the syllabus, yeah. You should indicate that. I think it is obvious in Nation and McAllister's model what we expect in the syllabus. Very clear, yeah. You need to be able to specify the goal, yeah, and then you need to be able to specify the contents, yeah. What are the contents, yeah, and the sequence of the contents, yeah. And then you need to be able to specify the format, yeah, or the presentation of the contents, yeah. What's the format like, yeah? How will you present the contents, yeah? Format, presentation. So in other words, you are supposed to think of the methodology, yeah. Methodology, yeah. So this is the materials, this is the methodology, the way you provide the instruction, yeah, as well as the assessment, yeah. This is the model, yeah. So what you need to put in your design of language and literature pedagogy is this one, yeah. You need to specify goals, content, sequencing, format, and presentation, as well as the assessment, yeah. Goals, yeah, and then contents, materials, and then how the contents are going to be presented, and how the goals are going to be assessed. So at least 4, yeah, aspects in it. That is why in the products that I showed you last week, yeah, the format of the lesson plan as well as the program development shows the components, these components, yeah, yeah, goals, format, and so on and so forth, yeah. Once again, the goals is the core, yeah. How will you get the goals for language program, yeah, non-school language program? The goals are very much derived from needs analysis, yeah, needs analysis, yeah. Okay, the goals are very much dependent on needs analysis, yeah. Okay, this is very much for language program, non-school language program. But for schools language program, the goals are very much dependent on what the curriculum designers see as important for the students. This is very obvious in the model here, yeah. Policy makers, yeah. So once again, policy, yeah, policy, yeah, policy if you read the chapters in curriculum development language teaching, there is a special discussion on needs and needs analysis and situation analysis, and you will find that information that very much it is common to have objectives or goals of language teaching in schools context decided by the policymakers, decided by experts, not based on the actual needs analysis. One of the reasons is that kids do not know what they need. Okay, kids do not know what they need. Okay. How will you then decide the goals if you don't know the students' need? Okay, so we'll talk about that later. This is my slide. I will share with you later on. Goals, objectives, and syllabus framework. As we just learned it. Once you know the goals, objectives, and then you later have to decide on the contents, materials. Contents of materials. From the contents of the materials, then you need to decide the format and presentation of the materials to the learners. The format of the presentation of the materials to the learners is called the framework of syllabus. How will you present in such a way the materials that learning the materials, the learners can achieve the objectives or goals. Okay, so let's see what we have here. AIMS goals. What's the name is actually AIMS goals? If you read Richards, of course, aims are similar to goals. But very often you are confused with the word competency. Okay, aims, goals, or competency. Okay, aims, goals, or competency. I think we should go to this. So in Richards, page 128, you will find that the word competencies are actually objectives. An alternative in competency-based program outcomes. An alternative to use the use of objectives in program planning is to describe learning outcomes. In terms of competencies. An approach which is a competency-based language teaching, CPLT. Okay. Competencies refer to observable behavior that are necessary for successful completion of real-world activity. So these are competencies to identify these and so on. These are observable behavior, so they are also objectives. So yes, competencies are objectives. The goals are actually the main. Sometimes a bit abstract, but it is it gives guides, what to do in the end. Goals or aims, or competencies. And if you read Richards, you will find that goals should be broken down into objectives. So because goals are not abstract, but broad, you know, they need to be broken down into objectives. Yeah. Okay. So the breakdown of goal into a manageable, attainable learning outcome. Yeah, the learning outcome is called objectives. Yeah. Sometimes they are also called indicators. Yeah. And how will you develop indicators? You have to use your knowledge of micro and macro listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. Later, we'll find this. I think you can also refer to Richards and Lee, or no, Brown and Lee on micro, macro listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. I'll show you later tonight. So what you saw on the left column is the criteria for formulating objectives. Yeah. So the objective should describe the learning outcome. So it has to be observable. Yeah. It has to be consistent with curriculum aims. It should be precise. It should be feasible or attainable. Yeah. So it has to have elicited performance, target linguistic domain, and acceptable level of performance. Yeah. Okay. So you will be surprised, yeah, to find that the objectives, indicators that many teachers write are not precise, are not feasible, and very often inconsistent with the curriculum. Yeah. All right. So with the statements of objectives or indicators, yeah, you will see whether a certain syllabus framework, yeah, will be best, yeah, to accommodate all of these or organize all of these. Yeah. So very often, if your objectives are about accuracy, yeah, so using certain pattern or using a certain language components accurately and so on, yeah. So the framework, syllabus framework for your objectives, the framework I think is best, yeah, by using grammatical or structural syllabus. Yeah. If you your statements or objectives show a certain language function, then functional syllabus will be better, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So the possibilities of using all these 10 syllabus frameworks, once again, depends on these statements of objectives or indicators. Yeah. You should read Richards 2001 on page 150 and something onwards, 152 up to 169 or something. Yeah. For the details of the 10 syllabus framework. Yeah. In Nation and Macalister, there is a special name for syllabus framework called negotiated syllabus. Negotiated, yeah. Yeah, while here in Richards 2001, the integrated syllabus is actually the accommodation of all the frameworks previously mentioned. Yeah, integrated means, yeah, you could be a combination of one of these, yeah, one or two, three of these of the following. Yeah. And in Nation and Macalister's term, yeah, this is called negotiated syllabus. Why negotiated? Yeah, so yeah, to the best interest of the learners, I think negotiated syllabus is preferred, yeah, so that everyone can get access to what is it? Everyone can get what they want. Yeah. Yep. We'll come back to the syllabus framework later by reading Richard's 2001. Now, this is from Graves, the elements of, is it the element? That one. 5 aspects of organizing a course. Yeah, organizing a course. So syllabus, a course. Yeah, in 2000. Yeah, determining organizing principles, whether theme, genre, tasks. Yeah, yeah. So that is similar to this one, the syllabus framework. Yeah, what's the organizing principle? Is it theme? Theme means topical content. Yeah, is it task? Task based. Yeah, is it text based? Yeah. Okay. And then identify the cost units based on the organizing principle. Yeah. What's the sequence of the unit? Yeah, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So once again, you need to be able to get the materials, get the statements of the objectives, indicators, yeah, and then find materials, and then think of how you organize this, whether you will use structural syllabus, theme-based, content-based, text-based, task-based, functional-based, yeah, situational, and so on. We've got so many. But of course, the so-called negotiated syllabus is also an option for you. Yeah. So if you go to 150 or 60, see, yeah, I think, yeah, this is the beginning. Yeah, the first is grammatical or structural syllabus, the 10 syllabus framework. Yeah, yeah, many different syllabus framework can make a claim to be versions of, and so on and so on. Okay, so these syllabus options. Yeah, okay, if your objectives are on grammar, yeah, what's the best? Yeah, the best syllabus framework should be grammatical or structural syllabus. Yeah. So if you want to select a pattern, yeah, to support the amount of teaching time available, yeah. If you want to identify a range of grammatical items, yeah, that will allow for the development of basic communicative skills, then I think grammar translation, grammatical syllabus is the best for you. Yeah, you should see appendix 4, the grammatical syllabus. Yeah. Okay. Grammar, and then we've got lexical syllabus. Yeah. We've got functional syllabus. Yeah. One that is organized around communicative functions such as requesting, complaining, suggesting, agreeing. Yeah. Yeah. So requesting, how to request, how to complain, how to suggest, how to agree, how to disagree. Yeah? These are best organized in functional syllabus. Yeah. So factual information is by finding out attitudes. So these are the example in appendix 5. Yeah. And then situation, a situational syllabus, if your focus of the communicative activities is on the location, and location, what communication activities possible, on an airplane, in on the air, what communication can be learned over there, and so on and so forth. In that case, you should organize the syllabus into situation-based syllabus. Topical or content, I think this is also one of the famous in our history. Topic-based or theme-based, Now, this one, competency-based, the one that I displayed in my PowerPoint, the cut of it, okay, this is the examples of competencies for telephoning, For telephoning, the competencies include to read and dial telephone numbers, to identify oneself, to request to speak, to respond to, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is important to note. Competency-based syllabuses are widely used in social survival and work-oriented language program. Okay, social survival and work-oriented language program. If you want to orient the language program for work, okay, competency-based is best. Okay, skill syllabus, listening, speaking, reading, writing, writing, listening, speaking, this is what we mean, micro skills, macro skills, that's I told you just now. You can check micro skills, macro skills in Brown and Lee 2015. You can find the skills over there. This is example. Task based. This is the task. What is the task? One that is organized around tasks that students will complete in the target language. Okay. So a certain task that the students need to accomplish using the target language. Okay, tasks, and then these are the activities, jigsaw task, information gap task, problem solving task, decision making, opinion, got so many. Text-based, you are also familiar with this, one that is built around texts and samples of extended discourse, okay. Okay, this text-based syllabus is a type of integrated syllabus, because it combines elements of different types of syllabuses, Appendix 7 nanti ada di sana. Kita lihat. The following are examples of text types that can be used in planning a text-based syllabus, text types, Of course, when you read this these text types, you will be surprised. Look, these are not the same as what you learned, so far, All right. So the classification of text, for example, here we call it information text, description, explanation, reports, directives, okay. They are called information text, information text, Procedures, includes instruction, procedures, protocols, We don't have menu over here, okay. We don't have menu. Instructions, procedures, protocols. Instructions include manual. We also have story texts. Recounts, narrative. Story. Story. Story text. persuasive text, opinion text, exposition, and discussion. So lain ladang, lain belalang. This is from Australia, yeah. Fees, 1998, yeah. Text-based, yeah. Australian-based, yeah. Approach, yeah. And of course, the names of the text are different from the name that Indonesian teachers use. Yeah. Okay. A 5-part cycle, yeah, building the context, modeling, and deconstructing, and then joint construction, independent linking, and so forth. Okay, so this is text-based, yeah. And finally, the integrated syllabus. Yeah. What's the integrated syllabus? Now let's have a look at the examples of the what is it? The appendix. What is the appendix for each of the syllabus framework? Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at appendix. Okay, 1. Yeah, this is appendix 1. I think we should start from appendix 4. When descriptor. Okay, grammar, yeah, grammar items and the sequence in the first year English course. This is an example of the grammatical or structural based syllabus. Threshold is functional syllabus. It's functional syllabus, yeah. Imparting and seeking factual information, reporting, correcting, asking, expressing, finding out attitudes, and so on and so forth. Yeah, inquiring, expressing, yeah. And this is skill syllabus, yeah. And yeah, this is text-based syllabus, yeah. Designing a course from texts, Burns and Joyce, 1997. Okay, step, and then discussion of example, yeah. Okay, for text, list, yeah. Okay. Outline socioculture, record or gather samples of text, develop units of work, yeah, related to text, and develop learning objectives to be achieved. Yeah, ini ya. Jadi an example. There is also a book on that one on textbook, text-based syllabus. Ya, ada saya punya bukunya. Alright, this is appendix 6. Apa ini? Is it task-based? Ya. Task-based. Yeah. So once again, the descriptions in Richards, of course, can trigger further questions in you. Yeah. What is that? What's the Indonesian school curriculum like? What kind of syllabus framework should it be classified? Because we also have the term kompetensi dasar, yeah. We also have the term text in there, yeah. We also have the term yang melibatkan ini ya, untuk menanyakan, menyatakan ini yang ini dan lain-lainnya, functions di sana, ya. So it's complicated. The Indonesian English school. A school English curriculum is, a mix of many things in that. Yeah. Okay, so once again, it is important for you to know exactly the goal and also to know the materials. Yeah. goal, objectives, and then the materials and how the materials are going to be sequenced. What's the organizing framework? Should it be what is it? The function, text, and so on and so forth. This is what called a negotiated syllabus. Yeah, I think my memory is lacking now. Yeah. All right, that will trigger further discussion with you. Yeah. So as I asked you the last time on about Indonesian school English curriculum, yeah, how or where does it fall in the syllabus framework? Is it text-based? Is it competency-based? Is it grammar-based? Is it integrated? It's hard to but I think the word integrated syllabus will be best. Yeah. All right. Let me ask you your response after my opening statement. I think I should share with you the PowerPoints. Yeah. Okay. Where is it? Design already. Yeah, let me share with you so that you can think of my PowerPoint. Okay, this one, yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, while you are downloading the file, others can ask me questions.
Sir, can I about
Yes, yes, please, Imratul.
so you have mentioned the the types of syllabus, and as I know, because I am teaching in junior high school, I mean the syllabus has already been given to me, so I didn't have any I have no obligation. I mean, I have no rights to to write a syllabus. So I actually want to ask you about this type of syllabus. So what is it for? I mean, is it for junior elementary school and high school, or is it only for higher education, sir? I just wonder that.
You mean the 10 syllabus framework?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course, the 10 syllabus framework is for all English language programs. Yeah, it doesn't mention schools. Yeah. All English language program. So you as English teachers have to have this broad knowledge about syllabus framework so that when you are assigned, for example, in an English course, which asks you to focus on accuracy, so you will be able to develop a structure of grammatical grammar based syllabus. Yeah. But if you are assigned to an English course which asks you to drill the learners to be able to speak English fluently, I think you should be able to develop a functional syllabus. Yeah. So with this knowledge, you can be professional teachers. You can play your roles in any context, any place, any language program you are teaching or you are assigned. Yeah. And in your case, when there is a mandatory syllabus, I think you should be following training first. Yeah. So as you see in the table or in the model of curriculum development processes, yeah, by Richards 2001, yeah. In one of the stages, there should be a classroom implementation. And before the classroom implementation, there is what we call teacher training, yeah, for that particular syllabus. It is, of course, going to be wise, yeah, for the school, for the English course, you or your employer, yeah, to give you training first before you take your role as the teacher, yeah, in that particular school. Well, I hope that you were trained before you teach. Yes, Im, do you get my point?
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you. So,
Were you trained before you teach?
am I trained?
Yeah. Were you trained for using that syllabus before you teach in that school or that English course?
I wasn't trained, but I already know it from my study in I mean in the university from my my undergraduate.
Yeah. So it is taken for granted by your employer. Yeah, your employer trusts you highly, that you get the prior knowledge of that particular syllabus of that school. So if you think that you know it well and then you can deliver, yeah, or use the syllabus in the classroom, then that's fine. Yeah. But once you know your students' needs, for example, yeah, if of course you find that the syllabus doesn't meet the expectation of your student, I think you can suggest your employer, yeah, to change or to revise the syllabus, yeah, following their the students' needs. Yeah. Of course, if you have a room for you know, voicing that revision. Some schools or some English courses do not have room for the teachers to voice what they think is better for improvement. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I thought the syllabus was made from the government, but that's wrong.
But it's made by
It's made by the school.
the school. Yeah. No problem, you know. Actually, what we see is that school curriculum or English in schools, or school English, I think that's the best word. School English is different from English in English course. Yeah. Why? Because schools English have been or the contents of the school's English, including the methodology and materials and objectives, have been decided by the government. Yeah. Okay, have been decided by the government. Yeah. So there is no room for what is it, revision. Yeah. But there is a room for improvisation of ways to achieve the expected competency or indicators, yeah, in our Indonesian school contexts. Yeah. So of course, once again, school curriculum, including the lessons in schools, very much dependent on the government policy. Yeah, even it is political, yeah, very often. Yeah, then then academic. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the real situation in schools. That is why teaching in private English courses or English courses or language program, non-school language programs is more fruitful, yeah, than teaching English in school. Fruitful or more successful, I mean, yeah, than teaching English in schools. Ya. Jujur saja, ya, saya jarang mendengar guru bahasa Inggris di sekolah itu yang mengatakan gini, saya berhasil ngajar bahasa Inggris. Jarang, ya. Tapi kalau ngajar ini bahasa Inggris di lembaga bukan sekolah, itu banyak yang merasa berhasil. Gitu. Ngajar ini di kuliahan bagaimana? Ya sama juga kuliahan itu. Kan mahasiswanya kan juga beragam gitu ya. Ada pressure tertentu. Pressure in what way? Ya pressure scores gitu. Ya, ngajar kan pressure-nya di skor. Itu kalau nilainya buruk ya maksudnya tidak A, jadi nanti IPK-nya turun. Nah, padahal kemampuan berbahasanya belum terasa dengan baik. Maksudnya waktu 1 semester nggak cukup waktunya ternyata untuk mengasah satu tujuan ini perkuliahannya itu. Tujuan mata kuliah itu kadang-kadang belum tercapai dengan baik. Tapi ya prestasinya kan harus dari nilai bagus. Ya, begitu Im. Ya, jadi ngajar di IF itu uangnya lebih banyak dan lebih mentereng daripada ngajar di English English Language Education Study Program. IF itu lebih mentereng. Ya.
Sir.
Yes, please, Pak Isnaini. I hope that answers Imratul Kamarima's questions. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Pak Isnaini.
Okay. As I know, sir, about curriculum, our government only give what is it, like competency based and core competency, only that. And for decimal, we have KTSP and we have, kalau KTSP dulu namanya apa? Kok lupa saya. Tapi ada kompetensi dasarnya juga. SI, standar isi and kompetensi dasar. Kemudian di kurikulum 2013 itu KIKD, kompetensi inti dan kompetensi dasar. And school is only given that. Itu untuk jadi untuk silabus sebenarnya itu murni guru masing-masing. Mungkin
Tapi
mereka punya
enggak Pak, tetapi ada ini
ada
ada apa ini peraturan menteri yang menetapkan silabus itu.
kalau di mungkin beda di Kemenak itu ada di KMA 183 atau 184 itu yang memperbolehkan mengotak-atik itu, yang KMA itu tahun 2019 kemarin, 2014 19 kemarin itu bisa mengotak-atik itu. Namun memang bahkan ini kita tidak berbicara bahasa Inggris tapi seluruh mapel itu kita bisa menghilangkan beberapa mapel dan menambah jam beberapa mapel. Itu akhirnya muncul ada struktur kurikulum nasional, kemudian dilempar ke provinsi, di provinsi membuat struktur kurikulum provinsi yang menambahkan beberapa mata pelajaran, kemudian dari provinsi dilempar ke sekolah, dan sekolah masih bisa mengotak-atik itu. Bahkan level untuk junior high school sendiri itu diperbolehkan ada penjurusan di sana, yang biasanya kita kenal hanya di SMA, tapi untuk di SMP itu diperbolehkan. Mungkin kami di MTS itu ya, itu diperbolehkan ada penjurusan, misalkan ada kelas yang fokus ke bahasa saja dengan mengurangi beberapa jam untuk mata pelajaran yang lain dan menambah di mata pelajaran yang lain, seperti itu. Kemudian untuk saat ini, Sir, sepengetahuan saya memang masih menggunakan yang KIKD itu, sedangkan silabus itu murni sekolah sendiri yang membuat. Dan waktu itu pernah memang ada beberapa format silabus yang ada, kita mencoba mengkonfirmasi ke Dirjen Pendis Kemenak Pusat, itu memang tidak ada, mereka tidak punya standar silabus yang benar-benar, jadi akhirnya diserahkan ke sekolah masing-masing. Yang penting itu bisa mengcover KIKD yang ada. Itu termasuk akhirnya muncul berbagai macam jenis RPP, mulai RPP kolaborasi, numerasi literasi, kemudian RPP PPK dan seterusnya, yang diambilkan dari itu semuanya. Itu.
Yeah. So I think in your situation, Pak Isna ini, Kemenak or Ministry of Religious Affairs has taken a different approach in deciding on the syllabus framework, Pak, ya, or syllabus ya ini. But the Ministry of Education, Culture, Higher Education was indicative and prescriptive in the choice of syllabus. Ya, jadi ada ya permen apa begitu yang judulnya itu adalah silabus bahasa Inggris, atau bukan, kalau nggak permen ya apa ya istilahnya yang direkomendasi oleh Direktorat Jenderal ini ya Pendidikan Dasar, atau Direktorat Pembinaan Sekolah Menengah Pertama, Direktorat Pembinaan ini SMK dan lain-lain, ya begitu Pak ya. Jadi kalau saya kan lama di Direktorat Pembinaan Sekolah Menengah itu sebagai salah satu istilahnya ya tenaga ahli lah kalau kalau dipakai gitu itu ya. Itu mereka langsung membuat surat gitu. Ini tenaga ahli disuruh membuat format, disuruh mengembangkan, kemudian disuruh dikirim ke sekolah-sekolah se-Indonesia Raya begitu. Kayak gitu Pak ya. Ya, begitu. Itu format dari syllabus. So Pak Isna ini was talking about curriculum and school curriculum and subject curriculum. I think you need to distinguish ya. Jadi kalau school curriculum itu ya nanti ngaturnya ya itu mata pelajarannya apa, apakah yang disampaikan Pak Isnani tadi, ada kurikulum nasional isinya ini, nanti yang lokal segini, ini namanya school curriculum. Itu nanti dibahas oleh Bu Pungki ya, mata kuliahnya ya. Nah,
Yes,
begitu.
yes, Bung Di.
And our specific course is design of language literature learning pedagogy. So we are talking about goals of English language and literature pedagogy, and the materials and objectives, and how you can organize the objectives and materials into manageable unit, ya. Apakah nanti manageable unitnya itu memilih bisa function, bisa structure, bisa and so on and so forth, ya. And also many others, ya. Ya, nanti kan ada integrated, nanti ya kita harus baca di bukunya Nation and McAllister, itu namanya negotiated syllabus, ya. Silabus yang negotiated. In what ways they are negotiated? Ya, negotiating with the learners. Ya, learnersnya maunya gini, ya ganti gini, gini gitu namanya. Kita perlu baca begitu. So yeah, I think what is happening in Kemenak is moving toward that negotiated ini Pak, syllabus Pak Isna ini, ya. I think that's good, ya. Good indication for the progress in the English language teaching in the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Nah, ini kan ruang untuk guru, ya, kreatif itu kan tidak ada kalau terlalu ada batasan-batasan begitu. Wajib ini, wajib itu, sehingga tidak ada ruang-ruang kreatif gitu. Maksudnya itu gitu. Ya, Pak Isna ini. So it's good for you, and I think you need to spread the good or best practice in your place to other schools, Pak, including schools under the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Higher Education. Gitu, Pak Isna ini. Okay, I hope that all of you can catch up with our discussion, ya, ngerti yang kita bahas, ya. Kalau ada yang nggak ngerti, ayo ini please ask me, ya. Ini Pak, maksudnya apa tadi Pak, ini kan, itu enak kalau ini ada yang tanya begitu. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, please.
aside from the school syllabus or school curriculum that have been decided, in case you want to develop a supplementary course for the students, my question is, when we are deciding to make or to create the goals or indicators, does it comes from the students' the needs analysis, or we have to set standard for the students to fulfill? For example, taking for the CEFR, or maybe it's different from the formal education, like adding the supplementary courses, or for ESP outside the school, like for business or culinary, something like that, sir?
Yeah, I think the choice is very much dependent on the what do you call, negotiation, yeah, between students' needs and institutional needs, yeah. Okay, students' need and institutional needs. In Richard's book, it's called situational analysis. Yeah. So I don't know how they are negotiated in your school's context, yeah. But for me, if you want to get an extra English lesson, for example, yeah, you need to think of the purpose, the objective of that extra English course, whether that extra is really extra to the main, yeah, or whether the extra is actually to support the main. Yeah. So if the extra is actually to support the main, so the activities of the extra should actually be taken from the main. Yeah. But if the extra is completely different from the main, then you can have your own goals, yeah, and objectives. Yeah. So you get my point, Hope, ya. Kalau mau ini programnya itu memang terpisah, ya nanti memang harus kita ini needs analysis sendiri dan situation analysis, maksudnya institutional needs, sekolah maunya apa ini dan begitu, harus nanti negotiated ya. Tapi kalau maunya programnya itu adalah supporting the main ya curricular activities ya, berarti yang ekstra tadi ya harusnya merupakan pecahan dari yang main tadi gitu ya. Jadi semacam extra hours begitu. Jadi membahas yang sama yang dari sekolah tapi lebih lama lagi. Jadi semacam enrichment begitu ya. So in a school that I was asked to, and I'm actually now being asked to help, yeah. That school wants to get standard, Cambridge standard. There is an aim of asking, or not asking, but making the students after they graduate from a particular level of education to be able to get the CEFR standard, yeah, A1, for example, because they want the students or graduate to be having such standard. Yeah. There is no way of developing or developing the program, but based on the CEFR description or descriptor, yeah. And there are aspects of the CFR standard, ya. Ada yang detail, ada yang ini. Is it production? Is it reception? Kemudian is it part of the written? Is it part of the spoken? Is it spoken? Is it part of the grammatical competence? Is it part of the socio-pragmatic competence? Is it part kayak gitu itu ya. Ada sekolah yang minta saya itu bilang begitu ya. Iya bagus kalau gitu. Kalau mau seperti itu artinya diturunkan menjadi ini begitu. Ya. Jadi goals have been broken down from the description of the CEFR, ya begitu in that school, ya. Nah, I don't know, ya, in your place home. So once again, it's a matter of choice, ya. It's also a matter of negotiation between the stakeholders, ya, learners or students, ya, and then institution or schools, and then the teachers, ya, who are in actually who will be the teachers or who will teach the students. Yeah. So once again, it depends on different factors that becomes complex very often, yeah, to finally get into agreement. Biasanya yang ini iron fist itu ya pakai ini tangan besi ya langsung jalan. Tapi kalau nggak pakai tangan besi nggak jalan-jalan. Why? Because of too much negotiation. Begitu ya. Kalau Cambridge misalnya ya once again Cambridge atau yang lain-lainnya itu kan purely business ya, very commercial ya. Ya, kalau memang punya uang banyak ya nggak apa-apa. Tapi kalau uang ini sedikit, ya kita masih fokus pada ini memenuhi kebutuhan dasar makan, begitu minum, ya saya kira ya nggak usah Cambridge lah. Iya, penuhi kebutuhan dasar itu. Yeah, home. So that is why you need to learn this, the design of language and literature, pedagogy, so that you can be program developer. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. As I said, our competency dasar or basic competency in Indonesia, I mean, has been developed in such a complex, complicated form. Complex, very complex, and that makes us difficult, to use a certain framework, for example. Can somebody read a basic competency of school English in Indonesia? Coba siapa ini yang ngajar di ini? Ya, mungkin Lili mungkin bisa baca sebuah KD begitu.
Yes, I will open my file in postgraduate class.
Iya, coba.
It's
Bacakan aja.
okay, sir.
Ya, coba dibacakan.
Yes. In high school, in
Yeah, any level, any level.
okay. Kompeten dasar in Indonesia, sir.
Yes, of course. It should be Indonesian.
The first one is untuk 1.1 ini refers to kompetensi inti. So
Jangan kompetensi dasar, please. Please kompetensi dasar.
Oke. Mensyukuri kesempatan.
No. Jangan mensyukuri yang terkait dengan langsung bahasa Inggris.
Ya, baik, sir. Menganalisis fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan
Oke, stop. Oke. Ya coba. Ini ada kata-kata teks ya, menganalisis ini teks ya. Berarti yang paling ini mengarahnya ke what framework? Which framework? Yang tadi out of 10 tadi.
Teks syllabus.
Oke, ya teks based syllabus. Oke, lanjut ya. Lele.
Oke, and then struktur teks, and then unsur kebahasaan dari teks, pemaparan jati diri sesuai dengan konteks penggunaannya.
Itu pasti membacanya dilewati deh itu, nggak lengkap itu. Ya, coba baca lengkap.
Oke. Menganalisis fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan dari teks, kemudian pemaparan jati diri sesuai.
Enggak lah, ini ada yang hilang ini.
Oh iya mungkin sir.
Ada yang hilang.
Teks tentang pemaparan jati diri.
Enggak juga, berarti nggak dibaca dari anunya aslinya itu sudah
sudah dipotong untuk implementasi, sir.
Gitu. Jadi harus dibaca aslinya ya. Jadi dibaca aslinya kita akan tahu. Ini tadi pemaparan jati diri ya. Ini kan pemaparan
sudah ke pemilihan ke sekolah silabus sekolahnya, sir. Berarti ya.
Iya. Pemaparan jati diri masuk apa? Which syllabus framework is best for that?
Masuk dalam teks lisan dan tulis sederhana untuk pemaparan dan menanyakan
sebentar,
dan merespon
Lele, ini saya tanya ke semuanya. Tadi kan ada pemaparan jati diri. Kalau bunyi pemaparan jati diri itu masuk fungsi syllabus framework yang mana yang paling tepat itu? Halo, yang semuanya kira-kira syllabus framework yang mana kalau memaparkan jati diri?
Text-based syllabus
Functional.
ya.
Iya, bukan text based. Tadi kan di depan text based, yang
Iya.
pemaparan jati diri bukan. Itu fungsi itu, ya.
Oh, fungsi speaking, communication.
Iya, for communication. Terus lanjut. Apalagi kata-katanya?
Kemudian yang kedua adalah tetap menyusun teks
Loh,
lisan.
bukan. Tadi lo kata-katanya pemaparan jati diri, terus belakangnya apa kata-katanya?
Menyesuaikan dengan konteks penggunaannya.
Wah, ini memotongnya ini apa keterlaluan ini. Sebab itu enggak apa ya, harusnya kan ada kata-kata meminta dan memberi, ngono biasanya ada gitu, atau lisan tulis, gak jelas
Oh, itu
ini.
nanti ke poin 4.1, Sir.
Londa ya, 3
Enggak
pun
juga.
ya bunyi pasti. Nah iya, jadi apa ya memotongnya ini ada yang hal krusial tapi nggak diikutkan di sana. Anyway, itu aja menunjukkan ya di statement the statements of objective or competency in our school English is complex, ya. So that will give us problems in breaking it or them down into its indicators. Ya. Itu menjadi problematik ini ya. Gimana indikatornya kalau basic kompetensinya itu banyak kayak gitu isinya. Begitu. Nah ini yang menjadi kendala dan seringkali menimbulkan dispute ya antara satu apa ya expert to other expert, satu academician ya to other academician gitu ya, academics ya, itu one academic to other academic begitu ya. Ini problema begitu, tapi saya emang nggak menunjukkan ini ya, tapi saya cuma menyampaikan tadi kalau membuat objektif ini begini. Saya sebenarnya punya PowerPoint yang memberikan contoh ini the breakdown begitu. Tapi saya nanti aja itu bicara tentang itu. Sekarang as our objective today is syllabus framework, yeah, and syllabus framework depends very much on the statements of the objectives. Then we have problems with the Indonesian context, ya. Kalau yang ini English courses, ya, it's going to be easy, ya, kan jelas ini, ya. English course misalnya ada orang datang ke ini misalnya Pare misalnya ya, ini kampung Inggris Pare, itu sebenarnya gampang. Kampung Inggris Pare ya, gampang membuat program, itu gampang ya. Karena apa ya, yang jelas yang datang di sana udah tahu apa yang dia mau gitu. Coba kalau anak sekolah ya, masuk SMP kelas 7 ya, dikasih bahasa Inggris, anak tahu nggak tujuannya dia belajar bahasa Inggris, mau nyari apa nggak tahu gitu ya. Nggak tahu, makanya nggak tahu, itu yang menyebabkan tingkat keberhasilannya jadi lebih rendah daripada yang tahu. Kalau saya tahu mau beli apa ke ini misalnya ya, sebuah mart gitu ya, ke Indomart lah misalnya gitu ya. Saya tahu apa yang saya beli, saya nyelonong aja cepet, langsung nggak sampai 5 menit selesai. Tapi kalau nggak tahu ya, gimana ya, saya beli ayo ke Indomart gitu, wah selalu lama pasti milih ini milih itu ya gitu, itu. Nah, seringkali begitu. Itu yang menyebabkan pembelajaran bahasa Inggris di Indonesia jadi kompleks dan susah mengukurnya akhirnya begitu ya. Susah mengukurnya. Yep. Thank you Lily for reading the basic competency ya, OKD for us ya. So that we know how complex they are. Yes, please, Pak Iwan. you seem to be willing to ask questions. Okay, Pak Iwan, no? Yes, no? Okay, other questions, please?
Sir, it's related to the project. I mean, yeah, the project, sir. Group
Yeah.
project.
Hmm.
So we have to develop a syllabus. And is it for example, like we want to develop a junior high school syllabus. So is it for all grades or only one grade, sir?
One grade.
Only one grade.
Yeah, one grade
Okay.
only. Yeah, not all. Yeah. So this is related to Pak Isna's information that in the Ministry of Religious Affairs, yeah, there is no such compulsory syllabus format or template, yeah, but in the schools under the Ministry of Education and Culture, they usually format or template of the syllabus. And of course, for your group work, I think you should be using your own format. It doesn't have to be following the existing format. Because what you need to show the readers, to me, is that you can break down the basic competency into indicators, which are clear and ambiguous, and then you can find the appropriate materials for certain objectives or indicators, and then you can organize the materials, into meaningful learning. How will you organize the materials into meaningful learning? This is where you need to think of the SOP or ways. It doesn't have to be a specific method. Yeah, you still remember that we learned it in semester 1. Yeah, the current English. Current language and literature learning method is actually the eclectic, the push method. Yeah, anything that can be that you can use, to achieve the objectives is possible. Gitu ya. So there is no such limitation in the choice of method. Yeah, but what we actually need is actually the actual procedure. Yeah. You don't have to name them a certain method, but what I will check is whether the SOP over there is actually suitable for the materials. Yeah. For the materials to be used to achieve the learning objectives. Yeah. The objectives or the indicators. Yeah. If you are interested in this course, of course, I mean, you want to make it your specialty, then I'm going to be very happy to help you think of your project, for example, for your thesis in developing language and literature, or in designing language and literature pedagogy. Who knows that you are interested in developing a program, even though it is going to be much longer for you to finish, because you need to develop a program, a syllabus like this, and then you need to implement the program, and then you need to evaluate to get a full report. Ini kan berarti nanti ada 3 kegiatan ya, development, implementation, and evaluation. Nah, lama begitu biasanya ya. Lama, jadi ini tidak bisa selesai tesis hanya 1 semester itu kalau seperti itu. Of course, unless if you design a program for 1 or 2 meetings, tapi itu kalau sebuah ini thesis, saya kira ini akan dipertanyakan oleh penguji nanti. Gitu.
Carissa, I have question.
Yes, please.
About project 2. Is it we should combination between syllabus from government and with theory that we get in this course, or just we develop the syllabus based on the theory?
Yeah, for your second project, developing a language program should be based on the academic knowledge. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I know for the program, but for the lesson syllabus,
school syllabus. Yeah.
Yes. We should combination with the government syllabus.
Of course not. Yeah, that's why I hope that this is going to be free from the government intervention. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So it's based on the theory that we get in the class.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the class, but also in the textbooks that we are using. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be using a certain template. It's up to you. But the point is that we are going to see how you organize how you break down the goals into objectives, and then the materials, and then the sequence of presentation, yeah. And the name of the syllabus framework, yeah. And finally, the kinds of evaluation, yeah. This is based on the model of curriculum, language curriculum, ya, by Nation and McAllister. Ya, syllabus isinya kan begitu ya, berdasarkan modelnya Nation and McAllister. Okay, is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Let me share once again the my screen on the this one, yeah, that okay, so a good objective or indicators are actually should contain elicited performance, target linguistic domain, and acceptable level of performance. Ya, so ada target linguistic domain, acceptable level of performance, ya, precise, visible, gitu ya. Jadi clear and unambiguous istilahnya, gitu ya. Jadi namanya clear and unambiguous. Jadi jelas dan tidak ambigu. Ya, begitu ya. One of the I like Richard, yeah, because I think he's reasonable, yeah. Let me show you a statement in Richard's curriculum development in language teaching, yeah, page, yeah. When we talk about yeah, 100, and I think I need to make it small. Okay, you should read this one, yeah. This one, planning goals and learning outcomes, ya. Yeah, okay. Ini nanti harus baca ini situation analysis, ya. Ini uses of needs and needs analysis, kemudian ada situation analysis, namanya institutional factors, ya. Ini ya penting harus dilihat, ya. institutional factors. Now, planning goals and learning outcome. Di sini akan diberikan ini ya. 120 ya. 130. Ya. Ya. Ini start with apa itu aims, apa itu objectives ya. Nah, the aims adalah apa ini? Aims goals and aims ya. Refer to description of general purposes of a curriculum, and objective refers to a more specific and concrete description of purposes ya. Jadi pakai di sini aim and objectives ya. Aim refers to general statement, general change that the program seeks to bring about in the learners ya. Contoh aim ya. This is the aims of English teaching at primary level in Singapore. Our purpose: learn English in order to communicate effectively in both speech and writing in everyday situation to meet the demands of society, acquire good reading habits to understand and enjoy a program dan lain-lain. Ini aim. And these aims have to be, wow banyak ya, aimnya ada berapa itu? 12 ya. Have to be translated into what is it? Into objectives ya. Ini contoh aims, other aims, banyak yang aims ya. Ya. Objectives ini contoh ya. Ini kan objectives ya. Apa? Precise focus of the ya. Statements of more specific purposes ya. Di statement of more specific purposes of objective. Jadi namanya instructional objective, teaching objectives ya. Specific changes. Jadi kasih contoh ini ya. Ya. Jadi ini contoh ini aim ya. Ini ya. Mana contoh aim. Ini ya. Students will learn how to understand lectures given in English. Jadi ini aim ya, general statement ya. Ini ada di Brown yang elements tadi ya. James Dean Brown 1995 yang kemarin kita buka ya. Jadi objektifnya, jadi ini will learn how to understand lectures, itu will be able to follow an argument, will learn how to recognize aspect of ini cause effect, ini dan lain-lainnya, begitu namanya objektif. Jadi ini bagian dari ini. Understand lectures itu dipecah jadi apa? Ya. Pecahannya apa? Itu memang bagian dari itu apa enggak? Begitu ya. Jadi ada beberapa kriterianya begitu ya. Oke. Objective should be precise, visible dan lain-lainnya itu silakan dibaca di sana ya. Ini contoh course aim to prepare students to communicate in English at basic level for purposes of travel and tourism, ada jelas tujuannya untuk travel and tourism. Objektifnya apa? Macam-macam di situ. Harus menjadi bagian dari travel and objektifnya gini. Nah, oke. Sekarang yang menarik adalah tentang ABCD ya. ABCD itu apa? Ya. Ada action, ada B behavior, C condition, ya, D degree kayak gitu ya. Ini yang tadi kompetensi itu adalah yang termasuk objektif ya. Sebentar, mana tadi yang saya maksud? Ya ini silakan dilihat di halaman ini ini page 139. Oke. A particular form of ini behavior objective, ini ABCD, ada performance, condition, criterion, begitu. Jadi coba kita dilihat di sini. Katanya dia susah sekali ya. Ini contoh. Ini contoh menulis apa? Objektif yang menggunakan ABCD ya. Given an oral request condition, the learner, student, subject will say action that defines his or her name, address, the telephone number, to a native speaker of English as spell his, ya, her name, street, city, ya. So that an interviewer may write down the data with 100% accuracy level of performance. Ya. Nah, ini yang baru dikatakan. Behavioral objectives of this kind are even more difficult to write than the simpler objective illustrated above yang di dalam contoh-contoh objektifnya si Riches tadi. And perhaps for this reason have not been widely used in language teaching. Ya. Jadi in most circumstances, objective in the more general form illustrated earlier provide sufficient guidance for program planning and instruction. Jadi yang penting sebenarnya untuk sebuah program ini ya yang penting harus ini ya harus jelas saja ya begitu. Jelas itu ya. Ya, jelas apa yang akan di ini ya. Daripada harus ada ABCD-nya ya sebenarnya susah ya. Kalau jadi harus ada clear apa tadi ya katanya harus ini describe a learning outcome, be consistent with the curriculum, aims or goal, be precise, be feasible ya. Jadi harus ada performance, target, linguistic domain, and ya, seperti itu gampangannya. Nah, tapi kita lihat sekarang apa seberapa ini ya apa ya seberapa kalau contoh-contoh di sini kan gampang gitu ya. Tadi di bukunya ini Richards tadi contoh-contohnya gampang-gampang ya. Tapi sekarang kalau kita bicara tentang ini kenyataan di lapangan ya tulisannya kita itu gimana ya. Saya mau buka sedikit tentang apa ya PLPG ya. PLPG berarti kan milik guru ya. Kita coba PLPG. PLPG ya. Dan ada. Mana ini? Cuma saya tunjukkan aja gimana sebenarnya masalah di PLPG. Tugas-tugas PLPG. Saya dulu saya carikan. Ya. PLPG. Ya bukannya ini, tapi kadang-kadang guru itu susah move on gitu loh. Jadi untuk berpikir sederhana itu karena selama ini disuruh berpikirnya itu pakai template ya, sehingga diajak berpikir biasa gitu, pakai ya namanya akal sehat gitu, kadang-kadang agak berat gitu. Mungkin, nah oke, sip. Ya coba ya, saya share. Oke, UKIN. Nah, apa ini? Mana RPP-nya itu ya? RPP lengkap. Oke. Misalnya ini ya. RPP lengkap. Bisa dilihat ya, ini RPP. RPP ini UKIN ya. Oke, jadi misalnya ini ya. Saya tidak ini ya. KD-nya mengidentifikasi fungsi sosial. Bisa ini terlihat ya? Jelas? Halo?
Yes, sir.
Mengidentifikasi fungsi sosial yang dibaca oleh Lilik tadi. yang melibatkan tindakan. Nah, ini asli nih, melibatkan tindakan memberi, meminta informasi, itu ada yang dihilangkan itu, yang melibatkan tindakan. Fungsi bahasa tindakan itu kan speech act ya, memberi dan meminta informasi ya, speech act of giving and asking information ya, of name, days ya, month ya, and then time ya, time apa ya, nama waktu dalam hari, waktu dalam bentuk angka, waktu dalam hari, morning, afternoon dan lain-lainnya, and then waktu dalam bentuk angka, berarti jam maksudnya ya, tanggal, tahun, oke. Jadi begitu ya. Jadi ini asking and giving information, tapi ini mengidentifikasi teks interaksi. Nah, ini teks interaksi loh ya. Oke, teks interaksi transactional lisan. Kalau kita cek tadi di bukunya Richard, adakah teks interaksi yang ini? Ada nggak? Enggak ya, teksnya teks tulis semua ya, bukan teks lisan. Jadi teks interaksi ini apa berarti kalau interaksi itu? Fungsi bahasa ya, teks interaksi. Oke, sekarang kita lihat indikatornya. Kenapa kok cuma 3? Di sini lebih banyak sekali. Ya. Oh, karena yang dihitamkan gitu ya, yang dihitamkan. Nah, makanya ini sebenarnya yang sangat baik sebenarnya harusnya semua indikator di list di sini. Ya, tetapi ya sebagai seorang guru ya harusnya ngelis semua indikator di sini. Ya, tetapi nanti untuk pertemuan pertama hanya indikator berapa sampai berapa, indikator pertemuan kedua indikator berapa sampai berapa begitu harusnya. Ya, sehingga nanti ada beberapa pertemuan supaya mencapai semua ini. Ini makanya kayak cuma 2 kali 40 menit ya. Padahal indikatornya segitu, cuma 2 kali 40 menit bisa mencapai segini. Nama ini kan impossible ini. Nah, ini yang kita ya ini you are master student, you should be able to be critical about this. You should be able to say there is something that we need to do about this. We need to one of the ways later that I can share with you is how we can actually break the basic competency like this down into its possible indicators. There will be many indicators, yeah, that you should have in mind. Yeah, that you should have in mind. So that you can think of your learners, because your learners may start from a different level. Yeah. That's to identify di ini. Terus ini menyusun teks interaksi ya. Kalau teks interaksi berarti karena mengajar apa ini? Komunikasi kan ya. Lisan dan tulis. Melibatkan memberi informasi, nama dan lain-lainnya. Cuma isinya cuma 2 indikator. Membuat teks interaksi, melakukan percakapan dari menyusun ini. Apakah itu punya penyusun ini? Apakah dia bisa menanyakan? Ini kan harusnya kan menyusun teks interaksi ini kan berarti memberi nama hari, meminta nama hari kan gitu harusnya. Memberi nama bulan, ini harus begitu aja. Meminta nama bulan, memberi nama waktu dalam hari, meminta nama waktu dalam hari, gitu. Harusnya loh ya. Nah, kok ini membuat teks interaksi ini ya, bagian-bagian itu semua harus jadi satu. Meminta memberi itu dalam bentuk nanti ini bermain peran atau apa begitu. Jadi listnya di sini harusnya banyak begitu ya. Nah, saya punya slide-nya karena saya juga pernah menyampaikan itu ya. Sekali lagi enggak kan saya sampaikan sekarang ini malam, jadi kita pilih waktu yang siang saja nanti ya. Kenapa? Pikirannya fresh, kalau malam gini kompleks gitu itu susah ini menangkap itu susah ya. Malam-malam ini mikirnya yang enggak kompleks saja gitu ya. But that shows ya even in a professional program being able to break the the goal or aim into objectives or indicators are very hard, ya. Begitu. Bukti nyata itu, ya. Jadi indikatornya enggak mengindikasikan sama sekali itu. You know what indicators mean? Indicators are actually the signs. Oke. Tanda-tanda. Tanda-tanda orang kena Omikron itu apa? Tuh, 2, 3 kan gitu ya. You can list ya. As long as 10 ya, gitu ya. Kalau ada salah satu, jadi apa kalau ini kapan kita menyatakan orang ini kena Omikron? Ya, kita harus menentukan kriteria. Mungkin kalau 2 atau 3 dari indikator-indikator ini ada ditemukan kan gitu ya, kayak gitu. Nah itu harusnya seperti itu. Sehingga kalau seorang guru nanti bisa ngajar anak yang di desa dengan yang di kota itu akan mengarah ke kompetensi dasar yang sama. Cuma mulainya beda. Anak desa mungkin karena tadi ilmu awalnya kurang, maka mulainya itu dari indikator pertama kita kita ajarkan dulu ya sampai baru indikator ke 20. Tapi anak kota ya mungkin tidak. Anak kota mulainya ngajar langsung indikator ke 15 ya. Begitu. Karena apa? Bekalnya sudah cukup banyak gitu. Tapi sama-sama nanti mencapai kompetensi dasar itu. Begitu ya. Yeah, once again, I think you should read once again the chapter 5 yang ini planning goals and objectives, kemudian lanjut ke syllabus framework tadi itu ya. In Richards ya. Kalau di bukunya ini juga silakan dibaca di bukunya Nation and McAllister. Tapi Nation and McAllister tidak banyak membahas lebih detail tentang objektif dan ini. Dia nggak tertarik untuk itu. So once again, our goal today, our objective today, tonight is for you to explain the available syllabus framework to choose, yeah. And you can show the link between syllabus framework and the breakdown of goal into objectives, ya, gitu ya. The goals into objective and how will the objective be organized ya to achieve the goals ya itu melalui the choice of syllabus framework. And on the table there are many syllabus framework that you can choose from, gitu. Ya. All right. So, any questions before I close this session?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yes, please, Jim.
Oke. Berarti untuk nanti kita memilih silabusnya itu frameworknya itu lebih dari satu begitu ya, Pak? Seperti yang tadi pada ada KD dalam silabus itu ada yang termasuk task-based framework, task-based syllabus. Kemudian tadi juga ada yang situational atau functional gitu. Berarti dalam satu syllabus itu ada beberapa framework begitu ya, Pak?
Nah, itu namanya disebut dengan integrated syllabus gitu. Kan ada yang ke-10 tadi the 10th syllabus framework is called integrated syllabus. So from the statement of the basic competency in our school curriculum, we know that the curriculum or Indonesian school curriculum, English curriculum, school English curriculum will be using what we call integrated syllabus. Ya, karena dari statementnya itu kok ada ini, maka lebih pas kalau di Indonesia namanya integrated syllabus. Lebih tepatnya begitu. Apakah harus dinamakan ini ada sebenarnya kan itu kan nama itu kadang-kadang penting kadang-kadang nggak penting ya gitu ya Im.
Yes sir. Berarti itu bebas ya Pak, berarti kita boleh milih framework apa aja gitu ya Pak ya?
Iya bebas, tapi nanti yang harus dipikirkan adalah apakah ini pas begitu ya dengan apakah ini paling pas ya untuk kita organisir supaya bisa mencapai kompetensi itu atau untuk mencapai tujuan kalau kita ini membuat language program gitu ya. Nah ini misalnya gini, ada ini saya pernah ini di pusat bahasa misalnya, ini orangnya minta ini Pak, saya minta apa? Saya supaya bisa nulis dengan ini Pak, dengan benar Pak, kalimat-kalimat saya baik. Nah, kalau seperti itu keinginannya learner seperti itu, apakah saya nanti ini kira-kira akan memilih framework-nya itu framework yang functional syllabus? Enggak tepat. Wong dia itu minta bisa nulis akurat kok, bukan ngomong akurat kok. Ya. Jadi untuk programnya dia ya paling tepat ya structural syllabus, nanti writing yang berbasis grammar begitu. Ya. Opsinya itu gitu loh. Nah, master student ya kan nanti gelarnya MPD itu harus bisa harus bisa main seperti itu. Ya. Tidak ini apa ya asal ini aja gitu. Pokoknya ini berarti enggak begitu, harus bisa menunjukkan alternatif ya. Kan menjadi master ya, penguasa gitu ya. Okay. Well, I'm happy that you get the message tonight. Yeah, I really wish that you continue reading because there are many challenges ahead, and I'll be happy to be with you. Yeah. Next week we'll be talking about syllabus and lesson plan in school. Yeah. Okay, and higher education. So what's the syllabus like? Yeah, so you can bring your school syllabus. Yeah, Pak Isna ini can bring the Kemenak syllabus. Yeah, and we can compare the contents, the components of the syllabus or syllabi. Okay, thank you. See you next week with the new challenge. Saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.